Alright, so stop me if you've heard this one before. The Easter Bunny, the Sandman, Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and Jack Frost all go into a bar. Or is it a doctor's office? Or do they form the Avengers? Something similar to that other one. That last one. Oh yeah! Rise of the Guardians.
Come on! Here we go! Am I on the naughty list?
Rise of the Guardians puts a new twist on some old childhood favorites. Basically, the boogeyman is trying to take over the world, in a sense. How this world works is, for fairy tales, for lack of a better word, fairy tale icons like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, the more they're believed in by kids, the more they actually exist. And no one really believes in the boogeyman, so the boogeyman wants to stop everyone believing in those fairy tales to believe in him and fear and nightmares and darkness. And Jack Frost and the Guardians, which is the before-mentioned four fairy tale icons, have to stop him. But Jack Frost isn't believed in either. And he's not sure if he wants to team up with the boogeyman or team up with the Guardians, whether he wants to be believed in out of fear or believed in out of love.
Sandy? Sandy? Wake up!
The movie's really creative with how it deals with these icons doing what they do. Like, how does the Tooth Fairy, one person, go to every child and get their teeth and leave them money? According to the movie, it's a whole colony, like thousands upon thousands of little small Tooth Fairies, and one, not so much queen, but boss Tooth Fairy. The movie doesn't focus on all of the Guardians so much. It's mainly the story of Jack Frost trying to figure out who he is, because he has no memory of who he was before he was Jack Frost. And he was someone. But what kind of sucks about that is just Jack Frost isn't very interesting. He's kind of bland. It's always the same thing, like, I want what I want. I'm gonna do this for me. I'm just helping you guys because I have to. Meh. Brooding emo. Got all the power of the snow when you wear the fucking hoodie. The other four have much more personality and much more enjoyable. The Boogeyman, who's also known as Pitch Black, which I think is kind of a cool name to give him, the idea of him is intimidating. He's not. He just looks like some grease ball in a trench coat. But he creates nightmares out of people's dreams using the same sand that the Sandman does, which is cool and also pretty freaky. The movie looks really good. It does a kind of realistic thing that a lot of video games have done, where it makes it all gritty and real. It's a lot of browns and grays and blacks. But it's still very colorful, but it's like a realistic, gritty colorful, so it's a little weird, but it gives it a very distinct style, which I do enjoy. The Guardians look good, but Jack Frost and Pitch just look boring. I mean, Jack Frost is the main character, and Pitch Black is the villain, and they just look so boring. Neither of them are that interesting. The four Guardians are the most interesting people in the movie, and Sandman doesn't even fucking talk, and he's got more personality than some of these guys.
Naughty list?
You hold the record.
This is a pretty predictable storyline. The hero, he's thinking about, does he want to join the villain, and you go and confrontates him, and he's going to be the downfall, but it doesn't happen, and there's a happy ending, and it's a very predictable story of what's going to happen. But it's more about the ride along to get there. Like, I think the movie is best in its first and second acts, I should say. The best parts of the movie are Santa and the Easter Bunny. Santa's Russian, and he's this big, fucking intimidating guy. He's fat and he's muscular and all that. The Easter Bunny is Australian, I think simply because he's played by Hugh Jackman.
And the Easter kangaroo.
The what? I'm a bunny.
And the acting is really good by all three. Sandman doesn't talk. Jack Frost and Pitch again. They aren't interesting. The other four are way more interesting. That's the problem with this movie. And also, it's the rise of the Guardians. Really, it's just the rise of Jack Frost. I mean, they could call it Jack Frost and the Guardians. Why not? Or Jack Frost and the rise of the Guardians. It's all about Jack Frost, and he's boring as shit, to be honest. Anyway, do I like it? Do I don't like it? I like it to an extent. I like the Guardians. The imagery and ideas can be really cool, but the villain has a lot of wasted potential. Jack Frost is pretty dull. I'd say it's worth a watch if you are into creative scenarios like that. But if you're not, you're probably going to pass on it.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.